The goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, simple feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
I remember this one time. I had been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight, we reflect back upon our recent events that we've hosted but quickly spin forward to what we've got coming up soon. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese.
Hello, and I'm your co-host, David Moore.
And you are listening to
Your Next Favorite Band.
And affectionately referred to as our Knucklehead Banter episodes.
Well, this is where we bring out the big brains.
This is where we just kind of chat it up, chew the cud. Is that the phrase?
These work when sometimes we have a bit of housekeeping when it comes to some of the things we've done or will be doing, and that's what we're going to talk. You mentioned that right at the very beginning. We're going to sort of like look a little bit back, look a little bit forward.
Yes.
And then move on with things.
Yep. I had a couple different phrases. So we always try and call it fill in the blank banter. And, sometimes it's easy when it's Thanksgiving and we can call it thankfulness banter, but tonight was a pre-brief and debrief banter. That seemed a little too corpo.
Yeah, or espionage, or kind of
right. Then I had no rest for the weary banter, but that was I don't feel weary. I just feel like it's
you
this
just
nonstop
rest.
We did take a rest. Like we did. Today's a Thursday. I don't think we've ever done a Thursday show before.
Well, it's what did NBC used to have? Much CTV on Thursday nights.
Yeah,
we're sort of bringing it back.
We are. We're going to bring that back, but we're typically a Tuesday night broadcast. Occasionally, the Wednesday happens. This week, though, it was just purely coming off the high of our event this past weekend. Listen to the Dissonance. Just kind of needed a break. But we needed to put an episode out there, so we were just like, all right, Thursday it is. And here we are. So Sunday, the 4th of February, was this moment in time where we did our inaugural Listen to the Dissonance, Songs and Conversations about Mental Health. And I'm very, very happy with the way that I'm dare I say, proud of the way that came together.
It felt like a big success to me. Yeah. Combined, not just the performances, which were great, and the conversations, which were great, but we had a great crowd, which was fulfilling, that made it feel like we were on the right track with something.
Yeah. I mean, I put on the listing, I put it in that we sold out. Now, the Ice House is such a flexible space that you create it your own way.
Right.
So to say you sold it out,
count, if you will,
doesn't mean we filled up every seat in the place. There's two different stages. One's larger, one's smaller. We were on the smaller stage because the larger space was being used for the tables that were set up for the organizations that were there. The reason why I kind of said that was we had set up that space with 88 seats, and we had 102 people who were there.
Right.
So we had to add seats. So that felt like a sellout. Plus, I don't know that you could really have fit anyone else up there without it starting to become cramped and possibly a fire hazard.
Yeah, I mean, there were literally people standing.
Yes.
So
that felt good from that regard. And none of this is meant to seem like we're bragging. I hope that doesn't come across that way. It's more just like you do something like this and you just have the faith that you're doing a good job, and hopefully people show, and hopefully the actual event has a beginning, a middle, and an end that makes some sense. And I feel like all of that was accomplished. So like we're just sitting here somewhat out of relief, but also out of happiness about the way that came together. And we're getting very nice notes.
Yeah, we are, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would just say there's a bit of validation to it. And I don't mean like an ego validation. I mean like the as I mentioned, the message and the sort of the way it was presented was validated by the fact that we sold that many tickets, was meant that people connected to it. People wanted to see something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And so it seems like, when these things come together and, we might make it an annual thing. So that seems like it might be something that we'll want to bring back in February again next year. I don't ever want to force that one.
That one feels like it's sort of got to have its own ebb and flow to it.
Yes.
If it feels like it's the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's the part of it, is like, we'll do it when we feel like we have the right guests and the right music to feature. It seemed the other thing though that came out of it too was the organizations that were there, like NAMI, and some of the others. And NAMI, again, if you don't know, is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We were saying, why don't they show up at every event that we do to have a table? Because that day may have been the first day that somebody in the audience was finally making the connection, and not yet ready to ask for help, but starting to identify this in themselves. Or maybe someone couldn't be there that day, but they were, wanting guidance on what those next steps might look like. So when it is the next event, which we'll get to in a little bit, but like as those tabling organizations are available, they said yes right away. They were like, that sounds amazing. So like, even though it won't be the theme of the day, we hope to always have some tabling organization that is offering services, or guidance at these events. So I thought that was something kind of neat that came out of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And I think they're the right kind of organization for that. The other organization that we support at Backline is also a good fit for that kind of thing with music.
Absolutely.
With the music connection that they specifically work with.
Yeah. And so if you, so we are live tonight. So like, if you were at the event, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. This was the one comment we've gotten so far. It's Bad Warhol. And it's the what comes up on screen. So it's like kind of like just a heart and musical notes and an instrument. But anyway, thank you for that, and thank you for all of you tuning in. So yeah, if you were there, great. If you we have some kind of highlights here to share. My only caveat up front is these aren't edited; these are raw footage that we got that night. And again, like just off of the effort that it took like that weekend to get everything pulled together. And then there we kind of did take a little bit of a break, but I did start to filter through what was there. And so these just don't have some polish, but they should be pretty good. So the one clip I have here is when Kufnats and Christina Elise joined us on the stage portion for the conversation. And I thought it was kind of fun to maybe share some of the affirmations that were part of the show. And we'll talk about that a little bit afterwards. But here, check out a clip here of the conversation we had with Kuf and Christine. And all. And maybe just lean that in for you, but thank you so much for being our opening. That was so great. It set such a cool kind of, as the kids say, vibe. But I just so appreciate all that you do, and your music is amazing. And then also to be able to start things off that way was just terrific.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so first, let's have an affirmation. Can't wait to see these. And if you need to censor it, or if you need me to read it, if you're not into the whole profanity thing, I'll take care of it. So what does yours say?
I am effing brave.
Nice. Oh yeah, you don't want that. Yeah. That's a little rougher. I didn't totally. See me afterwards if you want to.
Yeah, Phil did not vet these apparently.
I sparkle.
So Oh yeah, you can hang on to those. Those are yours to keep. I mean, listen, you got to have some levity with these situations. We're going to have enough dark talk, but I think first we wanted to. So David shared about Higher Grounds music. So why don't you share a little bit about that? Because Christine, you are a board-certified music therapist.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what that means, what your organization does, and then maybe again people might be able to tap into it.
So has anybody heard of music therapy before? Yeah! All right, so if you haven't, music therapy is really when someone uses music as a tool within the therapeutic process. So that could look there could be so many different ways where it could be used. And the way that we use it is really in community work. Koof and I started a community outreach performance project where we perform using our songs to use the interventions and themes of the songs to do different activities to meet different goals.
So the conversation goes on from there, and then basically the way the whole day worked was that was our first people who came on. They did an opening number, then came off the stage. We did our kind of intro to the show and to the day, and then we brought each artist one at a time like that, chatted with them about their mental health journey. In this case, it was their experiences with the organization they started. And then they would go up on stage and play 3 songs. And then that went on. So it was Koof Knotts and Christine Elise first, then Sean Barna, then Carly Commando from Slingshot Dakota, and then Mike Maines and Shannon Maines kind of wrapped things up. But that was kind of the way the day went, and it was such a very, very cool, just experience there of, the conversations and then the songs.
Yeah, I mean, I think the day worked really well. I think the energy flowed really nicely from act to act. I think we had some people in the audience that were fans of one band that might have shown up and got exposed to new music, and they were really excited about that. Everyone was really receptive to the different performers and their different styles. And it was really telling to also hear and how vulnerable or open people were willing to be about what they have gone through or dealing with or currently do for a living. In this case, like the Christine example, she's a music therapist.
Yep.
That all revolve around mental health.
Yeah. And those affirmations. So obviously affirmations are something that people can do to help through mental health, challenges and such. And so I had come across these, it was called, I'm looking over here to see if I can, it might begin this. It's not in there. So anyway, it was this bag of, it labeled My Little Bag of Sweary Affirmations. So many of them were foul-mouthed. But
the one I got was.
All of them were.
Yeah.
I had said to Koof and Christine, knowing how sweet they are as humans, I thought they may not want to go there, and I was right. They censored it, obviously, in their way. So they were giving the affirmation, but taking out the it got worse later in a great way.
It's true.
And I just thought, again, like I said, it was something where it was like you'd need some levity occasionally for, to keep some balance with the tougher conversations. So I thought it was just an enjoyable, at least I got a lot of enjoyment out of that part. But what I didn't share that night, and I don't have this here, the first batch I got were cards, not coins.
Mm-hmm.
But they were clearly done by somebody who English was not their first language, and the translations were not doing well. So they were hilarious, but I was like, I can't use these. So I got the second bag of coins instead of these cards, and that worked a lot better. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. So we're still not sure if we're going to release ultimate highlights from this. We'll probably release the music portions at a minimum. Right. I don't know about the conversations. I need to go back and watch it to see how it feels to watch a recorded version of it versus having been there live and in person. It just may not be something that translates as well as it did there, and I don't want to do that. And I don't want to also puncture the sanctity of the room, like if it also just feels like something that needed to stay there.
Right. There were some vulnerable conversations that happened.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna. I can't yet make a decision on that. but the music is the music, and I think we would have released that stuff probably. And to that point, I have here one song we wanted to play, and it is we do get this conversation, so this will give you a little bit of a flavor of how it went. So this is from Mike Maines and Shannon Maines. He introduces the song, so you get a little bit of the backstory of where it comes from, and again, like what David said, some of the vulnerability that was being shared, because he never hesitates to lay it out there as far as where things came from. So here is the intro and the song "Breathing Underwater" by Mike Maines and Shannon Maines.
All right, time to tune again, hopefully for the last time. All right, this is it's a song I wrote called "Breathing Underwater." This song and the last song we're going to do tonight are from an album we put out a couple of years ago called "When We Were in Love." Like all the other musicians, we got into this for the money. So yes, of course, it's available for merch, but more importantly than all of that, that idea, I love what you said earlier about, finding it hard to breathe or trying to breathe, and nights like this, I'm just incredibly grateful because I feel like I'm meeting people. It's like, oh shit, you're my family, and I've just been waiting to meet you, and I think that's the gift of creatives and musicians. It's like, oh, we have the same scars, and we've learned how to kind of stitch them together and cobble a little life together. And "Breathing Underwater" is a song about me really, really struggling as an addict and trying to get sober on my own, nearly kind of blowing my life up and trying to put things back together. Oh, in the morning over coffee, threw my heart on the table, told you what I've done in the dark. You felt far away. I was gonna be a shelter, held your wife fell asleep. We were in the back of my car before we were far away. And now that you see darkness in me, won't you please? Please take me deep into your river, sugar, let me soak until I'm clean. Set my dirty lungs on fire, I surrender to your mystery. I'm breathing underwater. We are breathing underwater. Well, now my brain is in a vice grip. He's taking lots of notes and telling me you're making progress, but I broke everything. See, I'm a zombie on the sidewalk. I stumble into strangers thinking about kissing the traffic.
So hopefully that gives a little bit of a peek or a sliver into, again, the vulnerability, the power of these songs. And just, I don't know, it kind of harkened me back to that happening. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny part is, from I know where that camera was. That's almost exactly your and I's perspective on that
Yes, that's
performance.
true. That's true. It was right between us. And yeah, I just, it can't possibly capture it. Like, that's the sad part, is, as is most things with a live experience. It's kind
Yeah,
of
I
like,
mean, your point is valid, but I think that's the whole thing. Like
mhm.
the room really was. There's a thing that happened, and
Yep.
we were lucky enough to be there. And I hope that the other people that were there feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so we have other live events that we do that are kind of clothed in other initiatives or other themes. Um, so as that one comes back around, I have like, our hope would be we change up the musicians, but we don't lose the spirit of what it's
Hmm.
about. And so as you hear more about Listen to the Dissonance, and it's something that you want to check out, hopefully you can join us. If it's something we're hearing, which is super humbling, is a request to bring it to other cities, like to bring it to Philly or New York or wherever. So I guess it's something where, if that's something you'd be interested in, like, and you're connected to the mental health community in your town, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about that. Like, who knows? Like, it's one of those things where I'd rather see us talk about it. At a minimum, maybe we could share the content of that day with that group to watch together. Not something we would publish publicly, but we could give and we could show it. And then you'd hear the stories and listen to the music just in the recorded version of it. And maybe one of the musicians would be willing to travel to that city and be there in person, that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And
or
I'll say this too: NAMI is in most communities,
right.
so that National Alliance on Mental Illness is available in most areas. So that might be an organization that could be there in person as well.
Yeah, and there's the possibility that some of the artists we've spoken to might be closer to that
Correct.
location than they are to here, and we
Yep.
might be able to also do
Hmm.
something similar with other artists.
Yeah, or a different artist who is also connected
Mhm.
in a similar way,
Correct. Yeah.
that we might be able to kind of just help coordinate. So let's keep that ball rolling. I think that the more we talk about these topics, and the more that we have a shared experience where maybe people don't feel as alone, is all going to be time well spent.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds spot on to me. Plus, we can get T-shirts out of it.
Yes.
With all the cities on the back,
Correct. That would be super cool.
along with the bootleg ones that say "sold out" across the
Yes,
back of it.
that's right. Yes, the inaugural one. We'll just call it sold out. Are you okay with that?
I would have called it "sold out."
Yeah. I mean, when you had to grab extra chairs
Yeah,
from the
that's.
ones that were
I mean, I get that your point being is, I actually think the fire law capacity of the building was much higher, but we sold out all the tickets that we put for sale.
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I
So,
mean, we played the smaller of the two spaces because of the
mhm,
way we were setting the day up.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's that one. We're gonna touch on. So, like we said, we can spend about 2 days, which is what we just did, saying, okay, take a deep breath, enjoy what we just did. But now we got to quickly spin forward. We have amazing guests coming up throughout February. We have another special event happening in March, and then our next live event in April. So let's do this in order. What I wanted to do was bring up, because I want to highlight again. You do this, so well, that I want to bring up our own site. So this is our nextfaveband.com site, and right here is our upcoming, artists. I'm highlighting it here. Look at these next three guests. Julia Steiner of Rat Boys, which, holy smokes, that is such an honor. Was probably, for me, the best album of the year last year. And spending time just simply talking about their music and their story is going to be so great. So that's next week. After that, Shane Guaret, who is one of the best upcoming blues artists. His music sounds like it's obviously big time fan of Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, as people know who listen to this show. If he's straight out of 1920, I would say Shane Guaret's probably straight out of 1950. Like, his sound, his voice, the way he plays the guitar, the way he even dresses, all fits that vibe. Super awesome. And then Brittany Ann Trainbaugh. She is an incredible artist. I mean, again, so hard to put people in a genre box, but I suppose you'd call it folk, maybe country. I don't want to call it either, to be honest, because I don't want to.
Americana.
Americana, that's probably better.
Yeah.
A outspoken queer artist, but
Yep.
still just.
She's an excellent songwriter. She's an award-winning songwriter.
Yes, yeah,
So that'll be part of what we have to talk to her about, because she's won like a really prestigious award.
Yeah, producing amazing music, and so all three of those I'm so looking forward to. And then anything we already have into March is great too. So the episode we have coming up in March is our 100th episode.
100 episodes.
So when I asked you, we go way back to, I suppose it's probably April of 22, and I said, hey, do you want to do this show together? And you said, sure. Did any part of you think we'd get to 100?
Maybe, but on an eventual scale. Like,
right.
It was
right.
one of these like, oh, we'll do this every month or every couple weeks. That
is true. We started monthly, and it was like bi-weekly, whatever it was. It was like no more than 2 a month.
Right.
So yeah, I can see where that would have been a whole lot harder to get to. But we're cooking up some pretty interesting things for that episode. So I would suggest tune in for that. Again, it'll be live, so we would love people to tune in to be able to also like kind of comment along the way, because we would love to hear who has been your favorite. Who did we introduce you to? We would love to kind of make it kind of about that kind of an interactive vibe.
Who can name all 100 episodes?
Yes, in order.
In order, right. Otherwise, it's not an acceptable answer.
Right. And if you think about it, what was there? There's basically only been one duplicate. We've only interviewed Mike Maines twice.
Right. We introduced Mike Maines twice, and technically a third time if you count the listen to the Dissonance conversation. So
yeah, I guess. I mean,
I'm joking about that.
Yeah.
It's he's been on twice.
Other than that, it's been all new
Correct.
people the whole time.
Untrue. We've also had Seven Horse on twice.
Oh, that's right. You are so right on that.
But Seven Horse was less of an on twice and more of a we need to finish
right.
the
It
conversation.
was part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
But that's true. They do span 2 episodes. So you are correct about that. Or we could totally sneak it this way and say technically episode 1 was Dada and episode 2 was Seven Horse. That's the way we'll get away with it.
There we are. It may be exactly the same musicians, but they're 2
Don't worry
different
about
bands.
that part.
Yeah, that's a technicality.
That is, yeah. The opening of the second part, is still one of my favorite things that we've done.
The recap?
The recap into the slow down, like, repeat thing. I don't know. Again, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Episode 100 will be on, it'll be either, so I'll say this, it'll be either Tuesday, March 19th or Wednesday, March 20th. We're obviously, since we're going to be live and we're trying to book people for it, I need to be a little flexible.
Let me look at my schedule, see what works for me.
Right. But it'll be that week. That week is the 100th episode, so it'll either be 19th or 20th of March.
Gotcha.
And then lastly, and I'm wearing the shirt I wore during it last year.
Hasn't laundered it since then.
Probably have. I probably haven't, but someone forced me to. The second annual No Planet B Jamboree.
April 21st?
21st. It's the Sunday.
Right
before Earth Day. Earth
right,
Day is
the 22nd, isn't it?
The next day, yes.
Yeah.
Once again, we'll be in the Sun Inn courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful space to do something like this. And weather permitting, that will be another beautiful day. The nice part this year is we were smart enough to gather a plan B for the No Planet B. So actually, the Ice House, which was where we just hosted the Listen to the Dissonance event, has allowed us to have that space on standby. So if it happens to be weather that's threatening, we can always move it there. So you can lock in Sunday, April 21st. We don't need a rain date because we have a secondary location that's indoors. So keep that in mind. And then too, like we talked about, we're hoping to have like some tabling organizations that are about environmentalism and conservation and sustainability. Maybe they'll be selling home products, or they might be just simply offering. I will say this: the Energy Co-op has agreed to be a sponsor again, so you can learn about 100% renewable energy to supply your home. So there's a lot of great things building around that event. And I think it'll end up feeling a little bit more festival-like. Like it'll probably lean a little bit more music and a little less interview. But we're definitely going to talk with people who are going to be able to share important information. But it's not going to be these, long-winded conversations. It's going to be, here's some important information. Go here to learn more, or talk to me on the side. If you happen to be in person, you can go talk to them at their table. So that's going to be the kind of way that day works out. But I will say this, we've already got 2 bands booked. We're not yet ready to reveal all that part, which is kind of tonight is just day, time, location. But I'm super pumped for the 2 we have. And we have a 3rd one we're talking to, and also a recording that we're talking to. So last year, if you remember, we got an exclusive recording of Sean Kelly of the Samples. The Samples have a lot of music that were Earth-centric. Mother Earth, and celebrating in all of its splendor. So we played that as the transition music from... So we had Dylan Zangwill perform the opening. Then we played Sean Kelly's recording while the set got turned over for Pepperwine.
Right, while their stage tech was working to change things over instead of drums and things like that.
Correct. And we never released that music. It was only for that day.
Correct.
So then we were like, well, it's probably time. Let's release it, because it is a tremendous, tremendous performance that he gave. And it's an acoustic. It's just him. But it was 6 songs that are all some of the absolute best of the Samples catalog, and also, again, all having to do with the Earth in some way. So we're going to share that tonight, and it's a great way to kind of close things out. And he, like I said, he put, especially when it's raining, I just think is one of the most powerful versions of it I've ever heard, and I've heard it a number of times. I've listened to this band. I've seen them play live since I've been in college, so I've seen a number of concerts, and this is one of the best ones I've ever seen. But all 6 songs are great.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as a note, if you haven't checked out our Sean Kelly interview yet, definitely go check that out as well. You don't have to obviously listen to that to enjoy the music, but it may.
But a great tandem, yeah, they're great side by side.
Spark your interest, and we get into the whole history of the band, and Sean is very, very open about things, including apparently answering questions that even the documentary they did about the band were not covered. So
yeah, that's right.
We deep dive with Sean Kelly.
There is a documentary called "The Best Band You've Never Heard Of" about the Samples, and there's nuggets of tidbits of trivia that he shares in our interview that didn't even show up in that one. So yes, you're right, David. That was a wonderful thing to share. But just one more time here. Set your calendars for Sunday, April 21st. Probably 2:00 is what I'm thinking. Maybe 3 again. That might be a little weather dependent. We'll let some more time pass before we finalize the actual timing. But it'll be the afternoon. Sun Inn Courtyard, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It'll be a free show. It's impossible for us to ticket that one. So that's another nice thing about this one, is that it'll be free. The one thing we'll be kind of asking for is maybe considering donations to the various organizations that we'll be spotlighting. Once again, is probably going to be reverb.org. Music Declares Emergency. These are doing great things for the music industry to try and become more carbon neutral. If nothing else, please like and subscribe and follow us so that you can kind of keep tabs on as we start to announce the bands that are included and the organizations that'll be there. Let's take a listen to the No Planet B Jamboree performance by Sean Kelly of the Samples.
Mother Earth, a big blue marble, the dancing moon, the falling sun, shine on and on and on, shine on and on and on, shine on and on and on and on. Looking down from tall, tall buildings, highways drive me to the ocean. Shine on and on and on. Shine on and on and on. Shine on and on and on and on. Shine on. Shine on and on and on. Shine on and on and on. Shine on and on and on and on. Through my windows and over the shadows on the wall, over the last known thoughts, the daylight will open our eyes to see the truth. Years go by, bye bye, and you and I will shine on and on and on. Shine on and on and on. Shine on and on and on and on.
All right, Indiana. I remember the first time I drove through Indiana, watching fences in the distance fade away. Once there was a girl I knew there, and she was pretty. We kept in touch until we both went our own ways. I remember the first time I drove through Indiana, waving goodbye to the towns that we drove through. Far away, I know they're deep inside a city, rushing back and forth, wanting only to go home. Once I was there in a dream, meeting people without names and without faces. They lived. I remember the first time I drove through Indiana, watching semis hauling grain to the west. We're gonna make it all the way to Colorado, where the mountains fill the sky and rivers bend. I remember the first time I drove through Indiana, thinking to myself how big this land really is. Amber waves of grain from a highway. Who lives in that house so far away? I remember the first time I drove through Indiana, watching fences in the distance fade away. I remember the first time I drove through Indiana. have all changed. Freeway never seemed so strange, rushing back and forth from a life that I can't explain. In the old days when the wheels went round and round through a wagon tread, I call this home. Watching buffalo herds and windmills sway. Watching buffalo herds and windmills sway. Watching buffalo herds and windmills sway. So I've read That Quail Robert, The Trumpet of the Swan, and a book called Touch the Earth by T.C. McCullen, which is a book that's about the Native American Indians, and it's very true. Like, the stories in it are the real deal. And so I read that, and then I wrote this song, immediately after, and it's called Close to the Fires. Skies are turning brown, trees fall without a sound, jets are crashing through the sky, the big sun is burning high. Oh. Oceans are turning black, tuna nets are dolphin traps, oil spills near a garbage barge, it's dumping needles in hospital jars. Close to the fires and under a trance, the Indians sang and said with their dance, take what you need and leave the rest, to take what you need and leave it alone. Landscapes are full of holes for private business or personal goals. Nevada's testing the nuclear sin, designing wars that no one could win. Oh. Bullets are out of control. They're pulling me inside my soul. Beauty pageants and glamorous furs. Can you believe what they once were? Close to the fires and under a trance, the Indians sang and said with their dance to take what you need and leave it alone. To take what you need and leave it alone. 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 The blue skies are turning brown. Our blue skies are turning brown. The blue skies are turning brown. Our blue skies are turning brown. All right. When years pass between us and the light shines on the water, I ask, please, just for one thing, leave shelter when it's raining. When it's raining. Decisions in blueprint, so nervous and deceiving. I ask, please, just for one thing, leave shelter when it's raining. Through towers and phone lines, connections to each other, I wonder who's watching as the light shines on the water. Ooh, on the water. When stars fall beyond us and our small eyes just keep watching, I ask, please, just for one thing, leave shelter when it's raining. When it's raining. story behind this song.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this song when I was 18 years old, and I half built a little log cabin out in the woods where we lived in Milton, Vermont. And I would go out there with my guitar a lot and just try and play these basic 2-chord, 3-chord songs I'm just starting to learn, or learn the chords, basically. And there's a bird called the black-capped chickadee, and one of its spring calls is, and it's like chickadee-dee-dee, but there's a note in there that's, and I took the notes to that and wrote nature. So nature is all the melody line of the black-capped chickadee. There's a little story for you.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've had some attorneys that represent the black-capped chickadee trying to sue me now for 15 years for thousands of billions of bird dollars. Yeah, they're persistent. I've got to pay them either in suet or sunflower seeds. It's been running. It's ugly. They're mean. They're a tough bird to go up against. I suggest never copying the melody line to any birds whatsoever. But you've probably heard that sound in the spring. Nature, it's all around me. Nature, it's so astounding. It puts me on a beach, swims beneath the sea. It's never out of reach, 'cause it's even you and me. Nature, it's all around me. Nature, it's so astounding. It takes me from a book, from pictures I can't feel, but outside when I look, nature's something real. Nature, it's all around me. Nature, it's so astounding. It's hiding up a tree, sees me looking down. Look at you and me, and nature can be found. Nature can be found. Nature, it's all around me. Nature, I hope it finds me. I wonder where it starts, I wonder where it goes. Maybe in our hearts, only nature knows. Only nature knows.
So we were going to go right into the close, like our credits and stuff after that, but I just forgot. I mean, I shouldn't say I forgot, but like I just was reminded of how wonderful that performance was, and I just felt like I wanted to honor that for a second here.
Yeah, I mean, it. Other than how wonderful the performance is, I'm remembering being in the room and him just setting up and playing, and it was special.
Yeah, and like you're listening to songs that he wrote and performed 30-ish, if not more, years ago, and he's knocking them out as if they were, I mean, they are as relevant as ever, but you can just see the way, like, he can come to life in the middle of those songs. Like, I was just watching him. Some cases, we asked for a song he hadn't played in a while, but he was willing to do it. And you could see, like, in the beginning of the song, it was like the battery was like, but then all of a sudden he's like,
to go into gear.
Yeah, he's like 3 bars in, and it came right back better than ever. Like, it was such a stunning thing to watch. And I haven't watched that probably since April or May, when we did it back then. And I'm just sitting here going like, holy, this is like amazing. Like, it's just way even better than I even remembered. So I'm so happy that we put that out there, and I hope now people can super enjoy it, because it's a really, really cool recording.
It is really special, and it was a great day.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We would like to just simply thank all of the different elements that we've been bringing up here. We'd like to thank everybody who was part of listening to the Dissonance, including any of you who were there for that day, as well as the Ice House and all of the musicians and the sponsors and the tabling organizations. Obviously, this was mostly about kind of sharing and reflecting back upon that, and then kind of getting you ready for these amazing episodes we have that are coming up. We have, like we talked about, Rat Boys, Shane Gorette, we have Brittany Ann Trainbaugh. We have a lot of great people in the mix to be scheduled for March and April and May. But then we also have our 100th episode the week of March 19th. So keep tabs on that, and make sure you tune in for that one. And then we announced tonight that we are on Sunday, April the 21st, going to be doing our second annual No Planet B Jamboree here in Bethlehem at the Sun Inn Courtyard again. So definitely mark your calendars for that, and hope you tune in, or I should say come out for that one, and enjoy the day with us. As always, our hope here is to bring you your next favorite band. So hopefully we did that, whether it was Kuffnuts and Christina Lease, or Mike Maines, or Sean Barna, or Carly Commander, or Slingshot Dakota, or Sean Kelly of The Samples. We also have here in the background Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, who we talked about earlier. But lots of great stuff coming on, and we've had such a great kind of way to get through all this. Hope to see you at a live show soon.